happen and stuff. So a lot of times when you have two people who are traumatized, like typically a lot of half of the police force
Hmm.
used to be deployed overseas, and now they're police in a very rough area. And now you have the guys who are really traumatized. They have high ACEs, all of that. So I've treated both of them, both groups, and sometimes when they get together and they talk to each other, they can actually have a civil conversation. So instead of when somebody has a comb, they put in coma and they get shot. Think about why that happens. Because the guy on the other side who's the gun, who's a policeman, is so traumatized he expects all this horrible trauma. So your primitive brain, like the amygdala, goes, "This is danger. Do
Hmm.
something about it right now." So you haven't even thought about it, and then you go, "Oh, that was the wrong target."
Well, I've had the privilege of sitting in San Quentin prison with the groups of men who are all murderers, and one of the exercises they do in their healing is to go around the room and estimate how much premeditation, how much time went in
That's an
premeditation
interesting
into the
question.
murder. And you know what so I sat with a group of 29 men who collectively had served over 700 years in prison for murder,
Unbelievable.
and the average was 6 seconds.
That's fascinating.
That's the
That
premeditation.
makes perfect
Well,
sense.
it makes complete sense.
I
These are
did not know
traumatized
that.
people, and it's just a volcano erupting.
Has that been published before?
I don't know, but
You and I should publish that. I've never heard of that. That's
yeah,
fascinating
and it makes
because,
complete sense.
yeah, because if you think about it, the reflex, right?
Yeah,
When somebody's throwing a punch, you have
yeah,
that's about that order of magnitude.
yeah,
But in order to get it through your eyes,
mm,
put it in the prefrontal cortex, and go, well, what should I do about it?
yeah,
That's wow.
yeah.
That's
I
fascinating.
mean, very few murders are committed with
Premeditation.
any type of premeditation. That it's just traumatized people who, and if you go through those 29 people that were sitting in that room, they've all had violent crimes or
Right.
violence committed against them so
Right.
much. I mean, they're
Right.
so
So
traumatized.
it's interesting. So let's look at it from my perspective of physiological things. So when you have, let's say, if you're a child, let's say you're a child in Englewood, so lower amount of resources. So you're always in a position to either you have food insecurity, you have housing insecurity, you have all those insecurities,
Hmm.
and then you see trauma or people being placed in jails, all of
Hmm.
that happening right
Hmm.
continuously.
Yep.
So that activates fight and flight system now.
Hmm.
They're more likely to develop further. So that increases norepinephrine level.
Yep.
Norepinephrine level is the main transmitter in the brain for trauma. So if you jump in front of the bus and you don't get hit, hopefully, your norepinephrine goes up. So
Hmm.
think how you feel. You're disoriented, you're shaky, anything that bothers you, right? You're hypervigilant. That's what PTSD is if it continues. So if you have PTSD and you have one person on one side has PTSD, the second one saying hello could be interpreted, or looking at somebody's eye could be interpreted as a threat,
Hmm.
and then you have to eliminate the threat, and that's why you get to meet him in prison.
Yeah. And
Wow,
it's
that's scary.
physiologically driven. It's not a psychological problem.
Totally agree with that.
Now, maybe, and the interesting thing about society is we'll look at serial